Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith of the Quant Edge in the Black VTF here, T3 Live with this week's market breakdown. And sorry it's getting out a little late and it's going to be a little bit shorter than normal. And one of the reasons is that we've got a holiday week with Thanksgiving here in the United States. Market closed on Thursday, half day on Friday, and then the month exhausts next week. I'm going to take next weekend's video off just to let December roll around. Like I said last week's video is pretty long, and there's a lot of stuff that's going to last a long time because at this point we got the VIX going down to 12, and so the moves that we're going after we're really looking towards like the morning gap list and stuff like that, because once you get that VIX down there, we need some more action basically. So the SPY still it's trying to walk up in here. It's very gradual at this point. And on the weekly, trying to take out all this stuff. So, it's gradually moving up. It's an outside month to the upside, so that's still good. It's just how much we're going to get out of this, because you go to QQQ, Doji on the month, trying to go Doji hammer, but we've got some month left. But basically, that's a problem because it's essentially doing nothing. It doesn't mean that it can't move, but it goes down, it goes back up, and now we're stuck in here, and you can still see these lower highs here in the Qs. If you go to Apple. So I want to go back to that spot because I want to remind you what that Brexit, after the Brexit, looks like. When that VIX gets crunched down to 12, we really need something to shock the system again, because it goes up and everybody's like, oh, I'm going to short it because it's overbought. And that's not really what's going to happen. It's going to go sideways, chop them up, spit them out, and then maybe even find another level like this. And so we're just beginning that. It could be just rough sledding here. So I just want to make that point. Anyway, we go back to Apple. As far as rough sledding, as far as volatility, Apple, we know on the monthly is still shooter down here. However, trying to come back up here, and so that would be a higher low than that. Weekly, trying to hammer higher than this, so we'll see if that weekly hammer can counter. If you go to the daily, you're going to see this here, all this business in here, and see if it can get out of here and try and take some of this stuff out, or is just slight higher high off of that and drop back in. If we go to small capper still leading the charge here, and albeit slow going in the right direction, because when you look at that monthly, you can see, as opposed to the Qs, big bright green. So the small capper still leading the charge. We just don't have any new actionable signals there. If we go to TLT, TLT dropping in ever since the inside month, down, still going, and now potential momentum shooting star on the weekly here to expand this. Down puke, a little short covering. Anybody got long this thing, we'll be watching that for momentum shooter below that last week's lows. We have the dollar screaming here, UUP and all the DXY and all that kind of stuff ripping towards the highs, and that's been making a lot of the news, and that's somewhat going to affect this Dow Jones, because the diamonds here, once again, holding up pretty good for the month. Outside month to the upside and bright green up in here. But once again, at any time you get this VIX at 12, you start doing this business. We're doing nothing, right? So if we look in there, you'll see Nike still skirting the lows to see if there's going to be any hope of this. This might be a next month there, but you can see still getting nothing done out of this Nike when you look at this daily down in here stuck like that. But really, we want to watch some of the defensive names and how the dollar affects them for doing business overseas. So if you go to XLP, you'll see this inside week. So the question is going to be down inside week and really crush these things, or try and bring them back up. And there's a whole lot to look at in the XLP. You're going to have stuff like Coke inside week there. Also in the Dow, you've got Big Mo, and RAI to see how they go. We've got Clorox doing potential inside week, trying to go on the bottom of the triangle here. If they want to bring this thing back up, you'll see this here. Like so, inside week for the Clorox. You got an inside week for Campbell Soup. It's getting cold out. We'll go to Hormel, HRL. And that's inside week, and that's presently inside month and down. So we'll see if that continues or not. General Mills goes inside week. And like I said, a lot of this inside week. How much we're really going to get out of this? Really could use some volatility. Otherwise, expect the slow dripper. STZ goes inside week after getting hit. Kimberly-Clark. You got Dr. Pepper. So we can keep an eye on that XLP stuff. Trannies still the leaders, and that's why I say, like, when you get going in the month, you start looking at those monthly charts, and you can see how the Qs are doji land, and meanwhile the trannies launching here, and that's where it's at, man. Trannies here goes inside day up, Momo hammer up. So FedEx still Going into the highs with an inside day monthly combo on Friday. Here, inside month and up, just trying to go towards the highs with UPS, getting out of all this stuff. So we're just going to be looking for continuation patterns. UPS is actually momentum weekly hammer if they want to take this out for a nice measured move as Christmas is upon us. JB Hunt Trucker, just having one of those green months that we like here with the monthly hammer up. So we can keep an eye on the truckers as well. And the airlines. No actionable signals. You can see this American trying to take all this stuff out. Delta trying to get back to the top of the triangle, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of this is just straight momentum. And then if we go to like KSU and the choo-choos, it's gotten hit. Doji on the month is the problem. It is inside week, and CNI here, also an inside week to see if any of those choo-choos have anything to say about it. If we go to XLU, defense still hurting, and that's that XLP, and you can see in the monthly, bright red on the Utes. So you got ETR going red in the month and inside week. Detroit Eds inside week. EXC. So let's keep an eye on all that stuff together. And then if we go to VNQ REITs, here potential weekly shooter back into the basement. You got stuff like letter O going inside week. You got FRT inside week. OHI. So certainly a big week to continue to watch these defensive names. Go to the XME. XME still inside month and up and trying to take these guys out. It's a matter of continuation. Once again, once we get up in these levels, the problem is you're just stalling out in here. And how do we get out of this stuff? And so if we go to gold, gold's still drifting lower here on the monthly. You can see this and here, trying to take all this stuff out for upper level triangle and or worse if it wants to puke down. If you go to silver, you'll see this too. Here, just still dropping back in all those ranges. GDX. Here, slowly but surely takes these guys out. The question is going to be weak enough to take all that stuff out. And as per what we've been seeing, just tight ranges for the last few days to see how we can get out of that stuff. FCX goes inside week, woohoo. So you can see what it's doing here. Look at this. But inside week, so we'll see how that plays out. The financials have been the big runners too, and FAS here, bright green on the month. Here, and KRE took out the big triangle here and going into these recent highs, and XRT coming up here, still got some room to take some of that stuff out here in the XLF. XLF doing that thing that the KRE did. So the bank's on the move. So obviously we've seen the moves in JP Morgan and Bank of America, and just a lot of it's just straight momentum now. And once again, just stalling out towards the highs. But you got Citicorp still. Only because it hasn't taken out the monthly highs like everything else has, to see if that's going to do it. Obviously, Wells Fargo not either. But we'll see how everything holds up because Goldman Sachs, still doing that thing. So nothing new there. It's just a lot of momentum, and so it's just a matter of whether that momentum is going to continue. As you can see, how PNC Bank here continue that inside day, and bam, another $3. But how far they go from here is another story. So if we go to crude oil. USO here, almost inside day. And here, outside week, fractal triangle. So that's good. That's something. It's trying to go here. Tries to take out the lows, tries to take out the highs. Get out of all this stuff in here and these guys in here. Still technically rev strat month to the downside here. And by that I mean, you got to get out of this. But by that I mean here. Inside month counter with a shooter back in, but as you can see, still a very tight range that needs to change. If you go to XOP, still trying to get out of this multi-month range, and on Friday here, see inside day and inside day for OIH. So knuckle tighten in there. If we go to the big boy Chevron goes inside day, and Chevron's still trying to get out of this stuff. Here goes up, so it's still, with any strength in the underlier. Chevron's still trying to walk up. With Exxon, not so fortunate, and Exxon broke the inside month and came back in, but this week it goes inside week. So it takes this out, potential for inside week and inside month combo to the downside. If they start hitting that underlier, we can keep an eye on that. XEC would be rev strat to the downside, inside bar counter to a shooter if they start to hit these babies. Conoco goes inside weak, not too much excitement there. You got Schlumberger still stuck in this monthly. The problem here with Schlumberger is Doji landed and trying to get out of that. With Halliburton, a little better, trying to take out last month's highs and get through all this stuff, and starting off as an inside day. inside day, outside day, inside day. So what that means is potential contraction, range expansion, range contraction. And if that carries through, hopefully the inside day can take the outside day and give us a little bit more action on that. If we go to WMB, just another inside week. Kinder Morgan, inside week. MPC and the refiners inside week, and Tesoro would be RevStrat to the downside if they start hitting these things. All right, if we go to XRT retail, XRT still stuck in all this business. How are we going to get out of that? You did have this nice big move off the lows here, and then once again, chop, consolidate. So we'll see. We got Costco. Still trying to get out of this. Couldn't quite make the higher highs up in here and just try and get out of here. And so on the week, just doji shooter week, if they want to try and bring this thing back in. Oftentimes this can be pretty good though, straight down, straight up, but then you're stuck in this consolidation area, and so we'll see how it comes into December. Potential hammer counters inside bar would be a RevStrat month to the upside, so it might be a little early on that. If we go to Target has the nice gap run to sit, and here it goes up, gap sit, goes inside day to see if it wants to come back in and fill this gap. And it's an outside month. Here, and remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months completely within this bars range. That still needs to change. Otherwise, you're going to get stuff like this. Look, it's going up. No, it's going down. No, it's going up. So it's consolidating. So if we go to Walmart here cooking the inside month, but you can still see weaker than most things here, and goes gaps down and now inside day to see if that continues lower. We got some earnings, I believe, in Dollar Tree coming out this week, and you got Dollar Gen still hammer month and up. How far it's going to go is another story. Stalls out like this, and so you can keep an eye on that Dollar Tree when the earnings come out this week. But you can see that we've been watching that try to come off the lows, and so once again, it's momentum hammer to see if it can keep going. You got Lulu. Still stinking the joint up, trying to get out of this range, and going to go try and test the downside here. But anytime it reclaims something, we can see if it can test back up there. But so far, so weak. Lowe's Corp, even though it went inside day and up, which was very nice on Friday, stays inside weak, and even would potential weekly hammer and back up. And Under Armour, even though it get clobbered, it was still inside weak here to see if it goes down sideways and really gets hammered off of that. But it was a gap, so there's a bit there. It's still just been sitting here. As you can see, the month is still doji, so a little tough on that one, but we'll see how it goes. All right, if we go to the IBB, okay, IBB gap and sit and do nothing, and so that gives us the inside week finally, and you're going to see a ton of inside week. Celgene going inside week, you got BIIB going inside week, GILD going inside week, and so the question is, do you get them all to break one way or the other? You had Regeneron come up and drop back in right to the tick-tock-ticky in the top of the triangle, and that was perfect. It went to the top, went inside day, and then just fell apart. But now you're back in the no man's land, whatever that thing's going to do. If you go to Amgen also inside week, and the problem here is if it starts dropping in, you're going to have a tough time taking this thing out to the downside. So possible multi-bar pattern, and that could be with this, if this VIX stays down, that could be what we see in a lot of things coming in all the way to December. VRX, always on people's watch list, inside week if there's any hope. Mylan Labs goes inside week. You've got ILMN staying weaker and going towards the lows. We'll see if that continues. SGN going inside week near the highs. BMRN inside week, just stuck in the middle of that range. And Jazz Farm inside week and still hanging out towards the lows. If we go to that Semiconductors, Tech, Semi still leading the charge, going to the highs. XLK here, still hanging around. So, albeit doji on the month, here's the problem. But if we take a few things here, NXPI does go inside week. You can see it's still doji on the month, waiting for the deals and stuff. But drop inside week. Let's see if it's ready to re-peak a little bit here out of that. If you go to Analog Devices took the weekly hammer, monthly momentum hammer last week. Now it's still monthly Momo hammer, just going into the highs. If we go to NVIDIA, yar, still going. And that's how once you see that month start going like this, you want to be involved. And so another inside day here right off the highs to see if the powerhouse can continue come Monday morning. You got Baba outside day, but Baba still would be weekly hammer trying to, after taking all this stuff out, or if it starts to fail, you're still monthing down here. So Baba either way. You got Qualcomm going inside week, here, tight range here to try and get out of all this stuff. You're an inside week in the middle, but we'll respect that. See if we can get out of there. FEYE, if the comeback maintains, inside week or just drops back in. You got Adobe, inside week there. You've got Akamai, just holding on to those gains to see if it's consolidated enough to take that inside week back up. Yelpster, inside week still chopping them up in this business here. Triangle the out up, triangle the out down. Now inside week to see if it can take another shot up into there. Okay, if we go to the Facebook's still bright red on the month, and here just tries to get back in this stuff, but you can see this multi-bar pattern down in here stuff still stuck in some of it a range down there doing nothing. Amazon fighting back, but now going daily shooter. Would be weekly hammer if it wants to take this out. Here, back up into that stuff. You got Netflix. Netflix going weekly hammer, and it's still Netflix most likely going inside month at this point, which means it can reverse and go right back up. So watching that weekly hammer, and you can see there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on the breakout because it's been stuck in this range for a while. But we'll see if just look for continuation patterns once it does it on shorter term. If you go to the Google, you got outside day to the downside in this big week range here, and so a good chance that Google goes inside week this week. So plenty of range in there, but at this point it looks a good candidate to stay inside week, especially in a shortened week. If we go to the home builders, XHB finally coming back, and we've been watching that for a while to see if they can muscle something up, and they did. So you got DHI still stuck down in here and going inside week. And you've got Toll Brothers here going inside week. So we'll see if those things can do anything follow through. If we go to Ag, MOO, Moo inside week here. So that's going to give you a Mosaic inside week. Potash, AGU. If you go to BG Bungie, that's inside weekend, inside month and up presently. And also starting off as an inside day for BG. Of course, we're going to be watching our old buddy, the Dries. Looks like it's probably over, but yikes. Certainly going to keep an eye on it. Hopefully we can get that thing to heat up again because that thing was good to us. If we go to SFM, weekly rev strat, if they want to kick that back down. Tesla, still stuck in this business in here. See, it's trying to walk down lower triangles as it keeps slowly but surely walking down, and that's because on the monthly, remember, it was an outside month and it's below that, so that keeps the pressure on below 192. And then, because it was a multi-bar pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, this fifth one finally takes this out. You'd really want to reclaim that too, and that important level is 187.87. If it's otherwise still just walking down. If we take a look at some of the monthlies real quick that are in force right now, you've got Visa is presently below the inside month, so is Oxy in the energies, so is NFX in the energies, KHC in the defense. Let's see, what else do we have? Well, we showed Post, defense. You also have Pepsi as inside month and down right now to keep an eye on all that stuff. If we go to the inside month and up list, right now we still have AMD inside month and up on the rev strat by a few pennies. You've got RIG and the energies is still inside month and up, believe it or not. You got CTSH, HPE, RDC Roan drilling. So if the energies start to perk up, that's up there. Whole Foods in the retail is still month and up. URI here still rev strat month to the upside. So as long as these things stay above the last month's highs, these things are in force. So we can keep an eye on that. You've got JEC, but for the most part, what we really want to see is some volatility. So we'll be watching the gapper list and the earnings, and then I'll be in Friday. So if you're on the headset with me, I'll be here, and you never know on Black Friday because things can get wild and woolly because there's the open and close all jammed into each other, and illiquidity. So that can often be a fun day or a real boring day. But right now, when you have the VIX this low, it's really case by case basis, day after day, because even these ones that are moving up are just grinding. And so ideally, we're going to be trading those special situations if we can find them, like the dry ships and whatnot. So, all right, hope everybody has a good weekend, has a great Thanksgiving. I'll be back in 2 weeks as far as the weekend video is concerned. So I'm going to do an annual Thanksgiving, I think, taking off just because it is a tight week, and then you're going to end the month. So really, we want to see how this month closes out, and then we can evaluate what it's going to look like coming into the end of the year. All right, that's going to do it for this week. I'm Rob Smith, in the Black Quant Edge VTF at T3 Live.